I think there's so much that we're missing out on by not paying attention to our senses. My name is Dr. Johnny Drain. I'm a materials scientist and food designer.
This is insane. This is the most silent it's ever been in my entire life.
Along with my two fellow experts, Joseph and Caroline, I want to explore how sound can affect our perception of taste and flavor, eventually designing a multi-sensory environment for our delicious, sharp blue cheese, which we're going to test on our lucky guests. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
I've got you here for a beer and cheese tasting. There's so much variation within beer styles that it pairs really well with cheese. So I'm going to start you off with this Castello blue cheese. Have a bite of that.
Different layers, over layer.
And you get that creaminess, but also a sharp,
Very intense burst of flavor.
but a mellowness to it as well.
This is a weird question, but if that flavor had a sound, what would it be? What would you hear? What would you say?
It definitely has a deep baritone sound with maybe a violin. And then
I don't
it
have
has an
such a
overlay.
complex way of putting it. I would say for me, it's just a bit of a drum beat going on there.
For our auditory sensory experience, we need to understand how the brain processes flavor and sound. First of all, I'm going to get you to put on these blindfolds. You're going to taste 2 beers and listen to 2 samples of music. And you're going to drink the right-hand beer first, listening to the first sample of music. And then if you take off the headphones, leave the blindfolds on, and how did that taste?
Oh, it really brought out the sweetness, the,
Yeah, I'd say
the
it's a
sweet
sweet-
fragrance in the beer.
Kind of rich, sweet notes in there.
So now I'm going to play you a different sample of music, and you're going to drink the sample of beer on your left. There we go. And take a sip. You can take the headphones off now.
So much more intense on that second one.
And I think really bringing out the bitter, dark flavor.
Although you both described the beers quite differently, the beer in each glass was the same. So all that changed was the music you were hearing. So with our sonic seasoning, using sound, we changed the nuance of the flavor of what you tasted. Just by listening to 2 different sounds, we've shown it's possible to alter our experience of the flavors we perceive in food and drink. I want to find out what else is possible. So I've invited 3 string musicians to a recording studio to see if we can translate taste to music. How about
Wow.
Wow. Bravo.
How about that? So, does this feel bonkers? Are we crazy? Have you done anything like this before?
Not with food. I've done it with dance. I interpret dance. So why not with food?
Let's start with our sweet brown sugar. There is some sort of weird resonance between that note when it went really high and what I was tasting in my mouth. So let's move on now to our bitter taste. So here we have an espresso. You know, when the grounds collect at the bottom of the coffee, that suddenly sprang into my mind, which I thought was interesting. Should we try the umami?
Could we hear that back to back with bitter? That definitely progressed in the same way that you would feel umami kind of does on the palate.
That was pretty sour.
Really sour, yeah.
So you just put into music what I just had on my palate. No. Seriously, that was brilliant.
So should we try the saltiness? How salty did that sound to you?
I just suddenly thought about a whole piece we could write based on salt. And I was like, ooh.
Now, you might think we're completely bananas when we say what we're going to do next, but we want to create this soundscape that picks up on this sort of palette that we kind of agreed on of the basic tastes and the sounds to elevate the taste of our Danish blue cheese here. The Castello blue is rounded but complex, with a creaminess that softens the delightfully sharp blue cheese flavour. It has moments of sweetness, sourness, saltiness, and a backing track of rich umami.
So I think we're agreed that it starts with
Sweet.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And I think we're maybe in the major for that, in the G major,
Yeah.
and then we
I
can
think
maybe
if
transition.
if you continue with that whilst we then kind of go in.
That was incredible.
There were a few moments where I just started smiling because it made so much sense.
Yeah.
The cheese now has a soundscape to match its flavour profile. Can Joseph create a dish that harmonises with the music we've created?
This Castello blue cheese has a real flavour journey, starting with the sweet, creamy notes, a slight tang, some nuttiness, and then finishes on a delightful sharpness. To complement the sweetness and nuttiness, I have some candied walnuts. Grapefruit and chicory will balance and enhance the sharpness. Add the ingredients to a bowl and drizzle over a honey and orange juice dressing. The angular plate I'm serving it on will match the sharpness of the blue cheese, but also echo the chamber we'll be serving the food in. The perfect match to the melody we made and the environment we're about to serve it in.
So now we're going to go to a controlled environment to create the most dramatic final tasting experience, with and without sound.
This is insane.
So this is an anechoic chamber. It's one of the quietest places in the world. What I want you to do is eat these samples, and we're going to try one just in the pure silence, and then we're going to do something slightly different with the second.
It's weird how we can hear the crunching as well of the way that they bite into the food.
It's odd.
I can hear every sort of mouthful, even the little gurgles at the back of your throat.
It was very pure, the taste, but the mastication is the thing that that brought out the crunchiness of the nuts, for example. And I heard yours as well.
The noise was perhaps actually detracted from the actual taste.
So you're almost distracted by the sort of deafeningness of the silence.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do now is do the same thing, going to have exactly the same small bite of food to eat. But this time, we're going to play some music that we specially designed for this experience. So
really different. I think with the music, it did really bring through the flavours of the food I was eating, particularly the cheese.
So it was a punchier cheese experience with the music.
Definitely so, yeah.
Yourself?
I felt that as the music was fading out, as I was just breathing in, I was able to taste more of that cheese, whereas with the first time round, it was just all assembled together.
So with the music, we somehow sort of elevated that sourness and that sharpness.
The sharpness really came more from I'd say the mid section of the music.
James, how was that for you?
This time, it was a journey because the music emphasised the sweet portions, and it went through to the end where it was bringing out the bitter and the sour taste of the cheese itself. So it was very, very nice actually.
Hey!
How was that?
Pretty intense.
It was a little intense,
Yeah.
right? So for me, the biggest takeaway is seeing just how profound an effect that sound can have on flavour experience.
And as a chef who works with this bringing sound in as an element of dining experiences, I've never seen it taken quite this far.
You can add sweetness, you can add bitterness, you can take away some of the sourness, you can add texture, all through a piece of music. It's pretty amazing.